So what we're looking at here, M&Ms, I think everybody is familiar with the old, tagline, but actually it is a value proposition. Do you know the original one, Ryan?
Yes.
Milk chocolate melts in your mouth,
Yeah,
not in your hands.
that's exactly the one that I was thinking of. Yep.
Yeah, right. So the milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hands, is like the original value proposition. Like it's people throughout, advertising history have called that the first value proposition because it speaks in a succinct and memorable and very specific way to two things. And those make up what is really the essence of your value proposition. And that is what's unique and highly desirable about the thing that you offer. Now, for M&Ms, what was unique and highly desirable at the time was that people really needed, because it was war times, and they were using this candy. Actually, the soldiers were getting this candy shipped to them, and when they'd get candy shipped to them, it would generally melt. So they put this candy coating on the chocolate, and the chocolate wouldn't then melt. So it was the high value, highly desirable, and unique thing there was that the milk chocolate would actually not melt. So they turned that into their value proposition, used it for decades as their tagline or their slogan. And it's more than just a tagline, though. It is a value proposition. I'm not talking about creating taglines now. I'm talking about creating a headline that is going to communicate to your visitor what's unique and highly desirable about you so that they're more likely to want to choose you. And that's really, when it comes down to it, that's the ultimate headline for small businesses and startups, especially since a lot of people may not know that much about you. So you need to communicate in a non-clever way something that's really unique to you that your end user highly desires. Great. And so we've got here as an example, our Mr. Lance Jones, who's my partner at Copy Hackers, wrote this headline for us, which is our value proposition. We tested a couple different ones, but this is the winner: the only web copywriting guides made exclusively to improve your sales. So that trigger phrase, that little phrase, the only, suggests that it's unique to you. The rest of it is about what's high value or what people strongly desire and people wanted to obviously improve their sales with web copywriting guides, and then we expand on that further. So that's an example of a value proposition at play as a headline.
Now, one thing that I just want to kind of touch on while we're talking about value propositions is A/B testing, which we kind of joke around at Unbounce. Obviously, A/B testing means you're testing like an A version and a B version, but it's also kind of an acronym for always be testing.
Yeah.
And so, as an example, we at Unbounce used as our value prop build high converting landing pages in minutes. So build, publish, and test landing pages without IT. And really, that is fundamentally what Unbounce is all about. If you've ever had that pain of getting pages out and built and having to rely on IT, then this will speak to you. But by testing, we actually discovered, and kind of honed our value prop to understand that actually it's about increasing the ROI of your marketing by building, publishing, and testing landing pages without IT. And so this actually led to a 40% lift in click-through from our homepage over to our pricing page. So it was, that's solid. That's a big change.
Yeah, and then, it reveals a lot about what your visitors find most desirable, which can help with the rest of your messaging too, right? To know that increasing ROI on the marketing is more important to them than quickly building landing pages that convert. That's, as a copywriter myself, I would look at that and be better able to write the rest of your messages, or to at least make stronger guesses at the rest of your messages too. Again, not that the messages would come from my head, of course, but you know what I mean.
No, but
that's really cool.
It tells you about the users and it helps establish that rapport. And obviously, in hindsight, it's the kind of thing that like, oh yeah, of course that's what it is. But at the time, it's super tough. So anyway, A/B testing, brilliant.
Very nice. And so that really leads me to a quick slide that hopefully will help people, everybody who's watching right now. There are the 5 key parts of the value proposition. If you're working on a value proposition and planning on using it as a headline or testing it as a headline, you can lay it out like this. So we've got some value props in here that are pretty awesome. They meet these 5 criteria around being expressing something unique that's highly desirable in a specific, succinct, and memorable way. That may sound like a lot, but it's actually really good for like narrowing things down without getting too short, because there needs to be some level of specificity in there for people to make sense of it, right? So we don't want to be just succinct, which usually means summarizing things until there's like nothing meaty left in it. We want to be specific too, and then finish off by making sure that there's something about it that people can remember, that it sticks with them in some way. A couple examples here. If people are working on, if you guys at home are working on your own value propositions as headlines, you could just swap out these value props that we're seeing off to the left, put your own in there, and then measure them against these 5 criteria, and the ones that meet all 5 of them, or 4 of the 5, may be worth testing on your next landing page headline test.